So, Buck, now that Prime has moved on, do you think that fans are rooting for him to be successful in Colorado, or are JSU fans rooting for him to fail in Colorado?
Well, judging by what I've seen on social media, most of the fans want him to fail in Colorado because he left. But there was an interesting podcast or interview that I saw. Actually, it was on TikTok, I think it was, or YouTube or somewhere. One of the former NFL players, and I can't remember who it is, but he's on ESPN, I think and some of the other social media outlets. What I saw him say made a lot of sense to me, and I really didn't look at it from this angle. What Prime is doing right now, yeah, I think we all kind of figured he was going to leave Jackson State at some point, mainly because these roguish ass people to keep breaking in his locker and stealing his shit. But I'd be leaving
There you
too.
go. There you go.
but but the bottom line of it is, besides all that, I had to throw that in there. But what he said made a whole lot of sense to me, and I really didn't even think about it. Um, what Dion is doing, and I don't expect him to stay in Colorado very long either. What he's doing is maybe he's working his way to the National Football League, even though I know I've heard in some of his interviews that he doesn't want to coach grown men because, he says something to the effect of, because they're getting paid or something like that. I get that. But back of his mind, there's not too many NFL. I mean, Mike Tomlin is the standard when it comes to black NFL coaches. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Steelers fan, but there's a lot of, if you see him come to a stadium, I'll go back to the Detroit Lions game. I think it was last year or this year. Yeah, last year. The players and coaches from the Detroit Lions, he did coach in Detroit for a little while. No, it was Minnesota. The players and coaches were coming up there hugging him pregame because he's so well respected throughout the National Football League
I'd
for what
argue
he's done.
he's not just the most respected black coach. I'd argue he's one of the most respected coaches, period.
Coaches, period.
Yeah.
So what Dion is doing, and I'm not saying that Dion would never coach in the National Football League, but I think he's showing the blueprint of what you may need to do to become a black coach in the National Football League. A different way. Most black coaches in the National Football League came up as coordinator. Defensive back coaches like my coach, like Coach Tomlin. Down in Tampa, he won a Super Bowl down there in Tampa when he was with Tampa. So he's actually got 2 Super Bowls. But the bottom line of it is, Dion is doing it a different way. He went to the SWAC. Now he's going to Colorado. Where does he go next? Does he go to the Pac-12? Did he go to
he's in
coach
the
somewhere?
Pac-12 now.
We're Pac-12 now, but maybe he may go to the Big Ten or
SEC.
go to the ACC, SEC or ACC or
Mhm.
whatever. The bottom line, he's showing a different path to become a coach in the National Football League. Now, I'm not saying he's going there, but it's a possibility. Anything's possible.
Yeah. He's blazing his own path.
He's blazing his own path. So maybe some of these other black coaches that aspire to be a coach and maybe get up, I want to see him do good in Colorado because Colorado hadn't done anything since the Cordell Stewart days, probably, maybe even a little bit more recent than that. But the bottom line, all I'm saying is he's showing a blueprint for what coaches might need to do so they can be recognized and be a coach in the National Football League. So I want to see him do great. So that's
Colorado
my take on it.
Hasn't had much success lately. I want to say they have like double-digit losing seasons in the last 15 years or something.
Right.
But I will say this. I know it's kind of 50-50 as far as JSU fans and how they feel about Dion moving on. And I believe that someone could move on from something that was enriching for black people, yet still be able to further black progression, so to speak. Right. Like, let's say he goes to Colorado and he does well. All right. So the next thing you know, some of the black coaches on his staff, his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, they get jobs. Now they're head coaches. Now you have another black head coach. Or let's say that he moves on and takes over at Florida State someday. Yeah. And Florida State pays him $10 million a year or something. Who knows? He may decide, you know what? I'm going to drop $5 million on Jackson State.
Yep.
Because of that was my stepping stone on the way to where I am now. I mean, if he gave half of his salary while he was here, who's to say he won't give half of his salary once he reaches his destination, whatever that may be?
Exactly.
And so he can still help people, even though he's people here in Jackson. He can still help promote Black coaches, even though he's not here. So when people were saying that you're betraying Black people by leaving, I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
I don't agree with that. I don't think he's a sellout because he left. Because, I mean, ultimately, we all got to do what's best for us. Okay. Ain't nobody living our lives but us. And so, and then, I mean, look at James Meredith went to Ole Miss, first Black student at Ole Miss. We don't call him a sellout. I mean, how would it look if we went to James Meredith and be like, bro, you know you should have went to Tougaloo. You know you should have went to Alcorn. I mean, know.
No.
But him going to Ole Miss did a lot towards Black progression. Now, some people may argue that and say he probably should have went to the HBCU. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm not going to root against him. I'm not a JSU fan, but I'm not going to root against him because I understand the bigger picture is that as he succeeds, there are going to be other Black coaches that succeed. And
this is the thing.
That's what we want. Think about how we've been fussing over the last 2 decades. There ain't enough Black coaches in collegiate football and professional football. Then we get one and we're mad because he came from a Black school. I mean, we can't have it both ways.
This is the thing about Black people in general, and I need to throw this out here while we're talking about this subject. When somebody aspires to be great, you're supposed to move up. You're not supposed to stay in the same place and just sit there and just eat. You're supposed to move yourself up so another person can take that place so that person can eat too. There's a you're supposed to climb the mountain, okay? You're not supposed to stay in the same place and just stay there. You got to climb. That's what Deion's doing. He's climbing. He said, all right, I've done everything that I can do at Jackson State. Now it's time for me to go somewhere else. We should be grateful for what he has done and the impact that he's had, not only on the school, but the city of Jackson, okay? He's not a sellout.
Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.